Happy Skylane Saturday, everyone. Happy Skylane Saturday, everyone. Happy Skylane Saturday, everyone. We are here on the ground at Catalina and getting ready to attempt something that I've never done before. A VFR flight through the, they call it the Los Angeles Basin, I think. It's going to be right through the LAX airspace, and there's absolutely no reason to do this other than to try to learn something new, because we're here at Catalina. We could absolutely steer well clear of everything and get up to Oceano County, but what's the fun in that? I mean, let's practice one of these. I think at last count, and I've done exhaustive research. I've done almost an hour's worth of research. I believe there's 5 different little routes that you can take through LAX area, but this is the one we're going to try. And so it's like I say, not your typical VFR route. All of these little 5-letter waypoints, basically, those are just these little transitions here, these little intersections. So, you know, we'll start at Avalon, come up here to Albus, head on in. Boy, this is slow rendering here. Hermo, and then this is actually the intersection point of Northrop and like one of the Interstate 92 or something. And we're on up here to Santa Monica, which is the CFB FH, and then there's Based and Sadie, and then on up to Henner, and then over to Golet, and then from Golet we can head north, and finally we'll be in Oceano County. So, should be fun. It's definitely going to be something different and new, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's just take a quick check here at the Skylane. Everything looks to be in good shape. Fuel is full, oil's full. Oops. And I can't remember. There we go. Do the quick walk around here. Left wing, I got the static torpedo covers off. That's cool. Fuselage, that's locked and secured. Don't have the tie downs. Yeah, those look pretty good. And those also are looking pretty good. I did have to, I forgot to do the walk around the other day, and I actually had an elevator failure. Complete and total failure of my elevator, and it was not pretty. Those are nice and tight. Right wing, yep, those are looking good. All of the internal parts here, moving parts, look good. Same thing here, we're just checking the edge there, and all those look nice and clean. Nothing out of place there. Don't have the tie down. Looks like the tube is clear. Fuel vent opening, basically. No chocks are on there. No dripping of hydraulics. We'll take a little peek at the fuel. Looks good and clean on the right wing, and pretty darn close to full. I was farting around with it the other day, so it's not 100% full, but that looks really good. The static opening on the right side, that's right there. That doesn't have anything. Oh, somebody just spawned in next to me, I think, and we'll worry about that here in just a second. Fuel from the nose looks very good. Nothing dripping down below. Nothing blocking the air intakes or the propellers. Those look good. No debris. Oil looks good and clean. The static opening right there, nothing blocking it. Fuel quantity left wing is pretty close to full. Pitot is unblocked. Fuel from the left wing, nice and clean. Again, no hydro leaks. Chocks are gone. No tie downs. Yep, the stall warning vane is working good, and that the vent is clear. Aileron on the left side. Again, all these little working connection hinges are looking good. Flaps are nice and secure. And again, all of those look really good. Okay. Very good, very good. I think we're ready to kind of get things fired up here. I do have vent, defroster and vent turned on, but I don't have any battery power yet, so that's okay. We can leave those on. That won't affect us too bad. We'll turn the battery on. We're going to go ahead and get this baby started. Better set the parking brake first. Alright, fuel pump on. Full rich. Wait for the fuel flow to rise here, and it's not rising because I don't have the fuel turned on. Might as well go ahead and open up the cowl flaps. All right, let's try that again. There we go. There we get a little fuel flow into the engine. Turn that off. See if I just flooded the engine. May have. Give it just a little bit more here and see what happens. Caramba, gotta remember the process now. I believe you go everything off in full throttle. Just in case, brakes are fully on here. There it goes. Oh boy, yeah, it does lunge forward a little bit. So yeah, that's just an interesting procedure right there. If you flood the engine, you basically pull your prop and mixture all the way back to off or cut off. You put the throttle full forward and you just crank it until it catches, and then you hope you don't go screaming down the runway. So okay, that looks good. Let's turn some other things on here. Generators on, avionics on. We'll go ahead and put the beacon on. Nav, strobe, pitot, heat can all come on. And alright, I think we're about ready here to begin. Now, so the first leg that we're going to fly, we're going to depart from Catalina, and we're going to actually be flying to the east, even though we are filed at 2,500, because ultimately our route does take us westbound. And it looks like we have SoCal approach on. I'm gonna contact him. And actually, no, I'm not going to contact him. The idea of, by the way, this route is if you follow the course correctly and the altitudes correctly, you actually don't have to technically check in. You can fly completely VFR. Now, of course, they recommend all along the way that you're checking in, and you know, just because it's obviously a high traffic area, and they're also, depending on the routes that you pick, there are like times of the day where you can and can't fly these transitions. So right now, though, for us, this is actually going to be a pretty good day for us to do this, and here's why. We don't have really a whole heck of a lot of traffic. We've got, there's LAX, 14 arrivals. I mean, it's busy, but not like a regular day busy. So no ATC, unfortunately, but that's okay, because that will kind of force us to, it'll force us to fly this and really communicate via Unicom. And so that's what we're going to tune in right now, Unicom 2280. We'll talk to everybody here on the ground. I do think there are some people. I've been hearing some people kind of fire up here at Avalon, and I do see there's 2 departures. So with any luck, we'll be able to talk a little bit. And that's the whole point of today's flight, is to find some uncontrolled airfields or some untowered airfields, or at least some airfields that have traffic but no air traffic, no ATC, and just see how, if I can, work on my phraseology, because that's definitely something that I need to work on. We will be going, let's see, I want to go 041, and that's, our heading's almost set. There's already a set there. And then the Avalon Santa Catalina VORTAC is 1415, and that's already been set. Cool. So we're going to turn that on. So we'll track that outbound for 21 miles, and that should get us to our first intersection. That's the Albus intersection, and then we'll figure it out from there. First time ever attempting this, but that's okay. Weather 310 at Niner, and so here at Catalina we have the option of runway 4 or runway 22, and I think I'm gonna pick runway 4. I think it's a little bit of a crosswind either way. Well, a 9 knot crosswind is not a little crosswind, but you know what I'm saying. That'll pretty much get us headed out the right direction here. So here we go. Welcome aboard. If you come across this stream later on, that probably means you found it on YouTube. Thanks for hanging out. We do have YouTube is used as the archive, and actually, before I get into that, let me real quick make a call here. I need to get my, make sure, okay, runway 4. Catalina traffic, Skylane 516 Delta Mike. We're taxiing runway 4, Catalina. So the YouTube channel is where we save all of our flights, even though we do all of our streaming here via Twitch. And also there's a Discord channel that you can check out. We've got a few really good, knowledgeable people that happen by from time to time and are regular contributors there, and that's what I try to do, is just basically surround myself with guys that know more than me and just learn from them. So we'd love to have you be a part of the FBO, and that way you get some regular updates on what I've got planned. I like GA flying. I really like bush flying. This is really not a bush flight, but this is definitely a challenging VFR flight. This is going to be done all via, well, this is VFR today, but I like slant alpha navigation, a little bit more old school. I kind of tend to lean towards the old school stuff. I like the vintage. If I'm in an airliner, it's going to be more than likely a vintage aircraft, and like a DC-8, or I do have a 737-200. I have an L1011 also I've been messing around with. And I've not done a very good job of getting myself spun around here to to do my run up. Hopefully there's nobody behind me, but I don't want to go past the hold short line just in case someone's inbound. And all right, let's do our run up real quickly. 1700. We'll check the mag drop. Maybe if I can get that to click over. Okay, not bad. A little bit of a drop. Left. All right, same drop. Prop lever. There's a drop above 1,000. Do it again. Manifold drop. Stays in the green, and one more time we'll just check all of our suction, and it all those gauges look really good. Okay. Flaps are set. Little junior first officer up there has to lay down for his nap. He's not very happy, but you know, I understand, dude. There's things to be done, man, on a Saturday. Catalina traffic, Skylane 516 Delta Mike will be departing runway 4 VFR departure to the northeast at 2,500 Catalina. Here we go. Here we go. The little guy upstairs is he's learning enough to negotiate, and it's kind of funny to listen to some of the things he'll ask for 10 more minutes, or right now he's telling his mom, who's trying to lay him down, bye-bye. Did I just see a flash of light? I hope I don't have somebody inbound here. Alright, I don't think we do. Oh, Daddy's trying to lay him down. Okay, landing light, taxi lights are on. I don't see anybody coming, so we're going to head out. I do see somebody else on the ground over there. We have a twin aircraft, twin engine aircraft, so some kind of maybe an otter or something. Awesome. I hope he was able to hear us. I do understand there's been some server issues over the last couple days, so I truly don't know if my check-ins worked or not, but that's okay. And boy, the nice part about that departure is we're almost directly on where we want to be here. So flaps coming up. We're going to go ahead and pull back on the manifold pressure and the RPMs. Kind of set our climb power settings, and I'm going to probably go to autopilot a little sooner than I normally would, just because I have a lot of things. It's a big workload for me, especially. So first things first, one thing I'm seeing that's a little concerning is I don't have the VOR tuned in here from Catalina. Let's see, what am I supposed to have? How about one? Okay, 114.15 is what it says, but then I do have also 111.4. Let's see what I can get here. Alright, so that's a little bit different. So that's showing me that I'm a little bit north of course there. I wonder how much. Well, we just flew through our altitude here as well. So again, like I said, big workload. So we're gonna just probably gonna make a few mistakes just like that, and that's, you know what, that's okay. That's not a huge deal. Luke VSS checking in. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be epic, but we're going to find out. We're going to have fun no matter what. But thanks for checking in, man. Good to have you aboard. And boy, oh boy, the little guy upstairs is not happy. Alright, while I am descending, let me see how far. I'm a little bit, yeah, I don't know that Santa Catalina, the 111.4, is necessarily working all that well either. So yeah, it's not too bad, I guess. Oh man. Little, if you want to talk epic, right now I'm hearing an epic fit upstairs with the junior first officer and his negotiations with his parents. All right, well, we're going to find out here, and I appreciate you tagging along, and if nothing else, it should be entertaining to watch me attempt to make this trek. I'm not loving this information that I'm getting right here, and I've actually had some trouble with the Santa Catalina Vortac before, so here's what I'm going to do instead. See if I can pull that over quickly before we descend past 2,500. I'm going to tune in. I'm going to tune in the LA. Let's see, what is that? 1360, and I'm going to just track when I intercept the 123 radial here. Let's just see what happens. Alright, here we go. Alright, that's coming in. And let's spin that around to, what did I say, 123? Alright, well, we'll just wait again until that needle centers up a little bit. We're 4 minutes out. I'm kind of tracking this basically using the stopwatch. And so we're going, you know, roughly 120, so you would think a 21 knot leg would take about 10 minutes or so. Just a little bit of a rough idea, but again, we'll let this really tell us the whole story. When we see that center up, we're going to go ahead and turn to the north. Oh, and then again, what did I do? I overshot my altitude. Yep. It's a little concerning if I can't even get leveled off at 2,500. How am I going to fly all the rest of this stuff? But alright, one thing at a time here. So the hard part about this is, well, there's two things that are challenging for VFR flying in the VATSIM world. One is you don't necessarily have great visual references. They're not really, not everything is rendered. You know, like one of the transitions I considered was, I think it's called the beach transition, Seal Beach maybe. Oh boy, now we have LA coming online. But the reason I chose not to do that is because one of the waypoints was the Santa Monica Pier, and I honestly don't know if the Santa Monica Pier is rendered or not. So it's kind of tough to base like you're heading on something that you don't know for sure is going to be out there for you. So all right, so new developments here. We do have a LA departure 2430, and even though I don't technically need to check in with them, I'm going to actually request flight following, and what I'm hoping is, if it's not super busy here, they'll be able to help us if we make any mistakes. And I gotta figure out how to I don't even know how to check in here. I think we're just west of the Albus intersection. Now let's just check in and they'll guide us. SoCal departure, Skylane 516 Delta Mike.
Skylane 516 Delta Mike, SoCal departure.
Yes, sir. We're VFR 2500. We just departed Catalina. We're inbound to the Albus intersection, and we're requesting flight following.
Skylane 516 Delta Mike, SoCal partner, squawk 4656.
4656. Alright, step 1. That'll help. 46 5.
Skylane 516 Delta Mike, squawk normal.
And we'll squawk Charlie 516 Delta Mike. Okay. Alright, let me make sure I am squawking normal down here. Yep.
Skylane 516 Delta Mike, radar contact 5 miles southwest of the Albus intersection at 2500, maintain VFR.
We maintain VFR 516 Delta Mike. So I don't know if I need to request. I think I just will. Again, he's not super busy, so that's kind of nice. And SoCal 516 Delta Mike, I'd like to request the mini route through your airspace.
Number 516 Delta Mike, cleared to the LA Pass per hour airspace via the mini route northbound, maintain VFR 2500.
Cleared mini route northbound, maintain VFR 2500. All right. Yeah. That part wasn't too bad. Now if I can just pull it off. All right, here we go. Or the needle is coming in here, so we're going to go ahead and make our turn. It's the 123 outbound radial from LA, so we're going to be flying here. What would that be? 277. All right, is that the reciprocal? Maybe turned a little bit early. I don't know. We'll kind of wait until we'll maybe round it off here just a little bit. Sorry about that. Now this next leg, by the way, doesn't really say, but that was about 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So our calculations were pretty good. You know, you never know because you have you do have wind and all that good stuff. So what we're looking for right now is we're looking for and we're looking for this intersection of Hawthorne and the 405 freeway. Alright, I think we're getting close here. I don't know that we're going to be right on the money ever, but we'll just start to make that turn. Well, we got crying grandkids and barking dogs, and we've got all kinds of things, as Mikey McBrien on Plane Savers would say, all kinds of stuff enhancing the audio today.
Number 6023, can you accept the request for departure, might and transfer to join the KAVX 6 travel to Las Vegas?
All right.
Stand by.
Here's just a sneak peek here at what we're looking at. So we're coming in here, and we're looking, like I say, for the there's a Hawthorne Boulevard and this 405 freeway. That's what we're shooting for right now. And then after we go through, we should be able to pick up Santa Monica 110.8, and as you can see, it's a 128 outbound.
And 6023 Victor can take Hawk
at 2,500.
And what was the next route? KAVX 6 arrival.
So that's what we're shooting for.
Let me just check.
We shall see. Now we'll put in 110.80 in the standby just just to have ready to go here. We do need to make just a little bit, honestly, just a tiny bit of a jump here. So I'm on this Victor 25 right now,
Victor can definitely take that
and so there will be. Let's see, there's a Wilma intersection there. It looks like we're coming through kind of the shipyard, which looks like kind of what we have right there. Then we come up here to Hermo, and with any luck we'll see kind of where that Hawthorne Boulevard, which runs north and south, and the 405, which where those two things intercept, and then from there I'm going to just tune in Santa Monica, and we'll go from there. Honestly, as soon as I hit Hermo and start my right-hand turn, I'm going to pop it over to Santa Monica. All right.
Expect 25 right for 23 Victor.
So we're looking pretty good so far. Billo F Bongo says hello, I see ya. Very cool, man. I'll check out that link here in just a second. Kind of on high workload mode right now, trying to make sure that I don't screw up these big heavies coming into LAX right now. But appreciate you checking in. It's good to have a couple new faces here, man. I tell you what, it's oh no, well, boys, that scared me. And we're still not all the way back. I don't have my mouse back yet. Oh, and it's doing something funky. Boy, when that when that little sim pause happened, it was right as I was clicking something, and it kept it like switched over to mouse mode or something. Oh my goodness, that was not good. I've slid, I think, a little ways, but all right, this little harbor is the first thing though that I do want to get to, so that's a good thing. Billo F Bongo, appreciate you, like I say, stopping by, and let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, got a little controller action. Yes, indeed, very good. Good to know I'm pinging on somebody's radar. Hopefully, like I say, I'm assuming you must potentially be a controller, but hopefully I'm not going to screw this up too bad. It's the first time I've attempted this, and but looking forward to it. Really am. So this is, I think this is Terminal Island. I think this is what this is called. And there's the SoCal scenery from Orbix does a really nice job of rendering a lot of these things that I need to be looking at, need to be looking for. So like this coming up here, I think is the Torrance Municipal Airport.
November 6023 Victor's ready for taxi.
It's a 2-runway. Yep, I think we're in great shape here, guys. I think that's Torrance right there with its dual runways, and we're almost to Hermo.
Hello, SoCal United 614 on the
And then we'll start from Hermo. We'll just take that little right-hand turn and try to find that Northrop 405, Northrop Boulevard, which is running kind of well, actually north-south is this way, and then the 405, which is intersecting it. So I think so far okay. We do a lot of this stuff on the channel. I do, if you enjoy bush flying, if you enjoy vintage aircraft. Did you get everything wrangled with the little guy?
United 614, I think he's currently not. Oh, okay. Never mind. Dot 45 X-ray Alitaria on frequency, correction Elliot, circle approach on frequency. Delta 45 X-rays on frequency. Dot 45 X-ray, sorry about that, looks like the audio got disconnected.
Alright, so we got to the bottom of the the commotion upstairs. I'll fill you in on that. Anyway, like I was saying, bush flying, slant alpha navigation. I'm trying to get a little better at VFR flying. And I have a couple of vintage airliners, DC-3, DC-8. I've got an L1011. I've got a 737-200 that I'm having a ton of fun learning as well. So that's what I like to do. And if you guys like that kind of stuff, click on that little follow button, and love to have you as part of the crew.
Yeah, it takes 14 concentrate turbulence traffic.
And I'm kind of hoping that wasn't my little, might have been my turn right there, guys. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to turn north. I'm going to tune in Santa Monica. And then Santa Monica has to be.
516 Delta Mike, traffic is heavy 777, 5 mile final 25 left to drive to the traffic inside.
Okay, we're looking 516 Delta Mike. I need to tune in 128 outbound, which is actually.
Number 516 Delta Mike, traffic is at your 11 o'clock and about 5 miles at 1,800.
Oh boy, okay. And negative contact with that traffic, 516 Delta Mike. Where are you, buddy?
516 Delta Mike, Roger.
Where are you, buddy? 11 o'clock. Yep, not seeing him. Not seeing him.
Full suspects vacating to the right.
Okay, there we go. Now that's lined up, and so I need to
Delta 45 X-ray, welcome to LA.
make my turn. Here's my turn that cuts me across.
Bravo, good night.
And there is a little bit of traffic that I need to look for. And again, I'm VFR, so it's my responsibility to stay clear.
Delta 45 X-ray, cross right 2 fine right at Tango, taxi to the rampway, Bravo.
Oh, got a little
Block.
step on block tone there. I'm still not seeing the
Delta
traffic.
45 X-ray, cross 2 fine right at Tango, taxi to the ramp via Bravo.
I'm thinking myself at 2,500. I'm safe because everybody's going to be below that landing.
Delta 45 X-ray, keyword to the 737 left to right on Bravo.
I never did see that
Halfway to 737.
that big heavy there. Sorry, guys.
Delta 45 X-ray.
Okay, well, this is that mini route transition. This is what we're doing right now, guys. We're heading right through here, right over the top of the of all 4 runways, and I can't even imagine how stressful this would be in real life. But also, this is, if I read this correctly in a couple of, I don't remember which one it was, but this is only available from like midnight to 6 in the morning. It's definitely a late night deal, so all my traffic should be coming from this side. I'm getting kind of stuttery frame rates wise. There must be some more traffic in the area. But we just essentially track this 128 outbound all the way to Santa Monica. And then from Santa Monica we make our turn, and then we start heading back to the west to Sadie. We'll actually just kind of go right down the coast. It should be a pretty flight. And if we can just get through here without screwing things up, I'll be happy. I really appreciate the ATC coming online so we can get a little bit of more of that immersion factor. And also just making sure that we don't make mistakes somewhere. There's some traffic kind of waiting to cross. That must have been the guy that was landing that he was asking us to find. Oh boy, our frames are awful here. I hope we don't get disconnected. I do know there's been some trouble with people getting bumped off the network that have been trying to use X-Pilot. I haven't really had trouble with V-Pilot per se, but you know, that's all part of the deal with a new pilot client, and so it's not unexpected that you're going to have some weird kind of quirky things. One of the guys that I follow, that a friend of the channel, his name is Rob from Slant Alpha Adventures on Twitch TV, and he actually was streaming last night, Friday Night Ops up towards Chicago, and about 30 minutes into his flight, complete shutdown to desktop essentially. But hey, there we go. There you are, LAX. Nice to see you guys. Default LAX. At some point in time, I got to figure out. What pay where I'm gonna pick up, but kind of saving my pennies just a little bit here. Could potentially be an X-plane purchase in my near future. Alright, well, we're just about to Santa Monica. They're 2.7 DME. And then at Santa Monica, it's
Number 516 Delta Mike, the LA altimeter is 2992.
2992, 516 Delta Mike, 2992. What do I have here? Okay, that's a little bit lower. Another beautiful day in Southern California. But anyway, my turn here will be 265 for 11 miles. That's at Santa Monica. Just about clear of most of our trouble here. You can see our VOR is now super sensitive because we're within 2 miles of that, so we're anticipating going up the coast. I mean, we know roughly where we're going. I say that like I've done this before. I feel confident in where I'm going, I should say. 265. We'll wait till we get right over the top, and we can stay. The nice thing about this little transition through here, and probably one of the main reasons I picked it, is I could stay at the same altitude the whole way. There's a couple of the transitions that, yep, okay, we flipped over from to to from, so we're going to go ahead and go 265. There were a couple of the transitions that were a little bit tougher in terms of, you know, the altitudes. You had to kind of, some of them you jumped up, and some you had to go down, and some had fairly good sized windows. So I just wanted, for my first time through, I just wanted to pick what appeared to be the easiest one, and it's worked out pretty well, at least so far. Okay, so we're about halfway, maybe not quite halfway, but definitely through one of the major hurdles here, so that's a good thing. And we need to track this again, 11 nautical miles outbound, and then after that we can go, then we turn, we go 296. That's the Sadie intersection. And then we do need to start thinking a little bit about altitude, though, because we've got some terrain issues, as you can see. So when we get to here, 296, we need to kind of start looking. We've got, this is the 2000.
Number 516 Delta Mike, leading the LA class Bravo airspace.
516 Delta Mike, thanks for the help.
2015 following.
Negative, 516 Delta Mike. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.
Number 516 Delta Mike, roger, radar service, Terminator Squawk VFR, change to advisory period.
Squawk VFR and over to Unicom. We'll talk to you later, 516 Delta Mike.
See ya.
That's how we do that. VFR, wait, VFR right there. Okay, I'm going to zoom in, find my click spot here. Squawk and VFR. Alright, so back to Unicom, and actually no, I don't necessarily need to go to Unicom. I could stay, well, I could stay with him. Really what I need to be doing now is picking up, you know, like I would be going to center potentially here, or some of these airfields that I'm closing in on. You know, they may have an approach frequency. For example, I'm going to be flying within the boundaries of the Santa Barbara. Is that a Charlie airspace? Yeah, class Charlie, and I would be wanting to tune in Santa Barbara. But if I don't get either one of those, if I don't get center or Santa Barbara, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with it here. Alright, we're back to our terrain issue, by the way. So we're going to essentially need to climb, because we have like I say, a few. There's a 28,000 peak, there's a 3,011 foot peak, so I think we're gonna step up to 4,500, and oops, just so we can make sure we're clear of the terrain here. We're on the outbound radial. We are 9 miles. Again, this is an 11-mile leg. So here in you know, just a mile or so, 2 miles, I guess, we'll be making that slight right-hand turn to 296. And at that point, we're not really tracking anything, so we'll have to go back on the timer. But we do have some things we can look for. I'll show you just a couple things that we can see if it's modeled, see if we can pick it out. Nudge up our manifold pressure just a little bit here and try to keep our speed somewhere in that 100 range. Climbing at 90 is kind of optimal for the Skylane, so we're in good shape there. Through 3,000 there is almost 11. And I think that's close enough. 296 to kind of zoom in a little bit here. 296, I think we're put it about right there. All right, we're gonna be clear of terrain, and it's a 23 nautical mile leg. So we'll reset our timer here, and again, you know, we're a little bit less than 100, so yeah, it's not going to quite be as quick as that first leg that we did. But I would say if we could maybe think about a little bit more than, you know, 13-14 minutes, probably it's going to get us to where we need to be. But what we'll look for in the meantime is just a couple of waypoints that should be modeled. So we will be flying. I mean, there's going to be a big town off here to the right, Thousand Oaks, but we have this is an intersection, Channel Island, BP CSU, but we have the Camarillo Airport that we should be flying right by, and we might even be able to see Oxnard over here. And then when we get up, this is going to be the tricky part. Is I don't necessarily know that there's any great, waypoint or visual that we are going to pick up here at the Henner intersection. Is that Henner? Or is that, what is that? Oh shoot, yeah, Henner. So I'm gonna have to be looking as we go here and see, but I want to pop back over here so we can get leveled off at 4,500. Oh, anyway, talking about the commotion upstairs, I think we may have, talk about me blowing through my altitudes, I think we may have inadvertently blown right through little guy's nap time. And, and definitely not intentionally, but I laid him down at just a little after lunchtime here. His great-grandma got home about 15 minutes after I laid him down, heard him kind of talking to himself and, you know, playing a little bit like kids will do, and thought maybe it was time for him to get up from his nap, so she got him up, and they hung out for, probably about an hour. I went upstairs to coordinate with her, and she said, well, she had got him up, and I don't think he went to sleep at that point, so she put him down, and then his mom and dad, I think they were out running around. We were taking turns watching him, but they came home shortly after great-grandma put him down, and yeah, so it's a boring grandpa story, I know, but suffice it to say that the adults in the house have really let down the little guy in terms of getting his beauty rest, and so now he's slightly surly. He's like me when he gets tired. He's fussy. Alright, so what in the world can we look for here? Well, I think what we're going to look for is really a couple of things. I'm going to look for, first off, we're clear of the terrain, which is cool. Here's Thousand Oaks, which is also what we expected to see. I'm hoping we're gonna have a Camarillo Airport up here. It's a single runway. Alright, anyway, it's got an east-west running airport, and that'll let us know that we're getting close. And we're within, actually, there's an intersection that I can work off of here. So there's the Camarillo Airport. This is the Camarillo, how do you say that? Satakoy Bridge intersection, and it's only 5 more miles to Hefner. So we'll be in that ballpark. But the other thing I'll look for is I'm going to make sure we're heading towards this lake right here, and looks like a fairly significant road. If we start to see those coming up on us, we know we've went too far, and we'll make this turn out to here. And again, it's all predicated on just what's rendered and what's not. And if there's any kind of a vortac that we can utilize, or ADF, we'll keep looking for that as well. I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect we'd maybe even get this far. So yeah, I'll take it. So we're 5 minutes past, and we are picking up a pretty nice road right here. I wonder what road we're looking at. Not sure what highway that is, but okay, well, I do see an airport here, and that's essentially east and west running, so that's good to know. I think we're doing okay, guys. I think we at least know we're still in California. That's one thing, I suppose. Once we get to this, just north of that is going to be that Camarillo intersection, and there is a railroad. We should be able to see this pretty easy. There's a railroad that's running here. Sorry, it's not the Camarillo. It's the Saticoy Bridge intersection. So there's a railroad, and I'm assuming that there must be some kind of a bridge there. I don't know. Like I say, fairly unfamiliar with doing this type of flying in this airspace. So we're learning on the fly here. We're learning together. Learning is fun. But as soon as we get north of the airport here, we should see that. And if nothing else, we should see the railroad tracks. Hopefully we'll see the railroad tracks. Yeah, we're about 7.5 minutes. We have sped back up to 120, so if we were doing our 23 nautical miles at 120 miles an hour, that should be about 11.5 minutes. And we were a little slow for a while. Now we're a little fast for a little while. So I would probably be in the ballpark if I still thought 11.5 minutes would get us to that next intersection. And then from there it's only 5 more miles. We can't go a heck of a lot further because we've got significant terrain issues. And yeah, that's a minimum safe altitude of 6,700 or more, and we'll be turning before we get there. Even if we don't find the Hefner intersection, we're going to have to turn. And again, we have a filed VFR route, but you have some flexibility. And obviously, one example would be if there was traffic, you'd have flexibility to deviate from that route. So the same thing works here, as far as I don't have to be exactly on Hefner. I'm far enough away from any of the major airspaces that if I'm a little off, it's not going to be the end of the world. I would be curious to hear an air traffic guy's opinion on that, but I think I'm right if I understand correctly from learning from people that know more than me, is that you do have that wiggle room when you're flying VFR. So if we get there, awesome. If we don't, well, we can figure it out. And we could track if we had to. Let's put this in. We do have Fillmore 112.5 that we could track, I think. I'm gonna tune that guy in. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, we're getting close, by the way, but I can show you this real fast. So we're somewhere in this area right now, closing in on this. Fillmore is right there, and it's 250, and that's getting us pretty darn close to where that Henner intersection is. So I'm tuning that in, and I'm gonna spin that around, and it's just gonna kind of be just a reference. It's not a it's a suggestion, not a rule. Kind of like a stop sign. No, I'm just kidding. Always follow posted signage. Alright, there we go. There's our airport. And okay, so eyes out now for railroad tracks. And we're 10.5 minutes here, so we should be getting pretty close. Again, if we don't see it necessarily, we're gonna watch this VOR center up, and we'll see. Like I said, we're not gonna go, even if we don't get all the way there, we're not gonna go into the mountains, because 4,500 is high enough, and main goal for today's flight, honestly, was to be along the coast, to kind of see the coast a little bit here. All right, I would say we are north of Camarillo. It's 11 minutes and 30 seconds right now, so I'm thinking that this looks to me kind of like how P3D renders railroads. I don't think this looks like a regular road. I do have traffic turned on just at a minimum, but there is that road that runs parallel to the railroad. I'm looking at the chart here while I say that, so I'm thinking this is going to center up here pretty quick like, and if not, we're going to plan on making that turn anyway. We can pick up that radial when we get out over the water if we need to, if we just want to really make sure we know where we're going. Now, actually, is this looking... This is actually looking a little bit more like a road and not necessarily... This might be the railroad track right here. A little skinny or narrow gauge. Yeah, I think this is that major... Whatever that road is that runs... runs down there toward Ventura. That's Ventura down there, and that's the railroad. Alright, so will we make it 5 more miles? 2.5 more minutes essentially. I'm going to start the timer right now. We're going to find out. I do feel like, and there's the lake. Okay, so that's the lake we were looking for. I think I see that guy nudging its way down, so yeah, I think we're going to be just fine here. I'm looking at the map, I'm not seeing anything. I'm seeing the tallest ridge at 1,370 at this point, so I don't think that's going to be anything to worry about. Okay, very good, very good. Another intersection successfully located and navigated. I'll get turned here and then we can take a look outside because we've got some very nice landscape action going here. Okay, there's our turn. .250. And yeah, let's take a look outside, guys. Lake Casitas. It looks like a cool lake. Definitely rendered, I think, pretty well. Looks like there's a little island kind of out in the middle of it there, so that's kind of what I'm seeing, right? Little island right there. Yep. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Okay, very cool, very cool. Okay, we are now on a leg of unknown length. What is our length here? How far? How far? I'm going to estimate about 20 miles. SkyVector, for some reason, is not giving me any kind of a distance, but it looks to me to be fairly similar in length to what we just did, which was 23 and yeah, it looks about the same. So 25 miles, so 12 minutes or so. We're on the Victor 2.7 roughly. Yeah, we did kind of drop off there just a little bit. And out here to Golik, and from Golik then we turn and we head 311. So I'm just monitoring. I could tune in 19.7, I guess, but technically I should get some clearance to enter the class Charlie, but I still don't have anybody online I can talk to. So we're just gonna would you make a Unicom call at that point? I mean, this is a little different than a real world procedure, but maybe you'd make a Unicom call that you're entering the airspace. Picking up a little turbulence. Do have that mountain range there to contend with. Let's go ahead. We'll turn the nav on for the first time here, and let's see if we can track the outbound, or if it's going to spin us all the way. Okay, there we go. I'm always a little bit nervous about tracking the outbound. Some of my autopilots do it very well, and some, like the DC-3 I have, it actually will not track an outbound radial. If as soon as you try it, spins you all the way around and tries to take you back to the radial that you have tuned in, regardless if you're inbound or outbound. So always a little bit of trepidation there as when I flip that over. So I do think I'm going to make a call here just in case anybody else is there, because I do see some well, no arrivals, no departures. They do have an event here, by the way, and it starts in about 3 hours. Let me just confirm that. Well, no, it starts in 2 hours, I think. Where was I? Sorry, just had the boss, had the owner of the FBO talking to me there. So the event, the SoCal event here, ZLA welcomes AFV, starts at 2300, which is 2 hours, a little under 2 hours from now, and would definitely be one worth checking out. They'll have very, very good coverage down here. These guys, the ZLA guys, do a really good job. So we were down here a little early just because of some personal obligations, but that's okay. It's been good practice regardless, and I think what we're going to look for here. So this is again a kind of a tricky transition, because there's not a lot of waypoints out here on the water, but you know, we're roughly due south of the Santa Barbara airport. So I'm gonna, as soon as I have Santa Barbara kind of off on my, 3 o'clock there, I think that's when we'll make our turn, heading 311, and then that is our final heading basically into Oceano City. And there'll be a few things along the way that we can look for, Santa Maria Airport being one of them. But yeah, I think we'll be okay. There is a little El Capitan there that all these little flags, by the way, those are VFR waypoints that in real life you can navigate off of. But again, as we've talked about in the VATSIM world, they're not always there. All right. No airport just yet. There is a little bit of, this is that, right, that famous Ventura Highway. Well, I take that back. Maybe this isn't that Ventura Highway. Maybe the Ventura Highway starts... No, I think it is Ventura Highway. Between Ventura, Santa Barbara, it does run up quite a ways up the coast. And then there's that rail line, that famous rail line that then takes over and heads up the coast as well. So would be a nice way to spend a day, no doubt about it. Stop along the way and taste some wine and do whatever you do in California. Enjoy the good weather, if nothing else. So if you're interested, by the way, in doing some of these, here's a resource, and I'll put it down actually in the chat window. I'll just put the link here. But if you just if you go to references here, this is the ZLA pilot certification.laartcc.org. Here's the different approaches. So you have the coastal route, the special flight route, the, let's see, oh, there's the mini route. Anyway, all those routes are there. So I thought there were 4 or 5 of them. I could be wrong, but they give you like one of them that I considered was, I think, the coastal route, and it just gives you, kind of a zoomed in view of what you need to do. It gives you, north and southbound specific directions. It gives you some VATSIM notes, contact in this order, so LA departure, approach, or center. And so anyway, it's a good reference, and it's just an example of some of the resources that the ZLA guys give you. So first class airspace, to say the least, and one that I'd like to fly as often as I can. But I haven't flown it that much really in the light aircraft, in the GA stuff. I've flown the route from LA to up north to San Francisco and back, and now San Diego as well and back. And so I know San Francisco that's not ZLA, but anyway, good place to fly. You'll enjoy it. Hope you stop by tonight later on and check them out. Alright, so there's 11 minutes, and again, I'm kind of looking for that Santa Monica Airport. as I get Santa Monica in sight, get it, or excuse me, Santa Barbara. What am I looking for? Santa Monica or Santa Barbara? Santa Barbara. As soon as I get that in sight, then I'm going to make that turn. 311. And so, got to be up here not too far. We're closing in on 12 minutes. We were estimating, you know, just about 12 and a half minutes. I do think we're turned back into the wind a little bit though, or roughly, so it might take us a little bit longer. Definitely not seeing anything up here just yet, but it would make sense to kind of have a little bit of a bigger flat area as land for your airport. That could very well be it, though. Honestly, I also don't have my scenery generation set to render very far. So that could be it. Through 13 minutes, so it's got to be getting close. And this is a pretty big airport. This airport has 3 runways, so it's not one of those, you know, just sneak one little north-south or east-west airstrip in there. It's going to take space. All right, there we go. I see the airport right there. So I'm going to wait till we get a beam of that, and I think that'll be close enough for us to turn to flight, or to heading of 311. We'll spin that over. Right about there. Now also looking ahead, because we are flying back into some terrain, we may need to look at, I don't think we're gonna have to be worried too much. We actually are. So we need to really, to be legal here, we need to be between 1,500 and 4,000. So we're a little high right now. We should descend. Yeah, so we're not technically legal right now, and yeah, that was just a bad miss on my part. But once we turn, we're going to fly up here. We could tune, if we wanted to, we could tune the Santa Ynez in and just kind of make sure we're on the right track. But then we can go back up. We've got airspace between 3,000 and 6,000, so we can get back up to 4,500 if we need to. Then we'll be looking for, again, that Santa Maria Hancock Airport, and from there just a short little hop down to Oceano City, Kilo Lima 52. I think we're gonna make it. level it off right here. Really only needed to get below 4,000. I'm looking at this terrain because it does look like it is a bit of an issue here, but I'm seeing 2,800. I'm seeing 2,000. I'm seeing 1,960. So I think if we're at 4,000, we should be okay here. We are going to just, it probably is going to be smart for us though to just to go ahead and tune in Morro Bay 112.4. That'll give us also a reference there, 112.4. We're not IFR by any means, but might help us here. Pop that over real quick here, 112.4. Yeah, we're a little too far away to get that just yet, but spin this to 126. That's 126 outbound, sorry. Hopefully, with any luck, we'll be in the ballpark when it does come online. It might be just a hair. 311. No, that's what we need. Alright, so we'll see. When that comes online, we will see how close we are. And in the meantime, let's yeah, we'll just stay right here at 3,800. A little bit unconventional, but actually no. I'm going to go ahead and climb back up again. A lot of variables here, and I want to, if I can minimize as many as I can, that's the safer we're going to be. So westbound VFR altitude 4,500 is obviously more appropriate. A lot of times though, you will get a VFR clearance to stay at or below, you know, a certain altitude like 4,500. So it's not uncommon that you could be flying at an odd altitude here. And I'm just monitoring Unicom. Again, anybody within 15 nautical miles, I'll be able to hear, and they'll be able to hear me. So I'm feeling pretty good that we're in the airspace by ourselves. Been looking, scanning, not seeing any other traffic. So I think we're doing okay as far as that goes. Alright, there we go. 4,500. Let's arm it right there. We better have another hop outside and have a look at the sights and sounds. So yes, I've had Ventura Highway by America stuck in my head now for the last 10 minutes. You're welcome. So one thing that we should be looking for here is the Santa Ynez airfield, which might be a little tough to find because it could be tucked in on the other side of this ridge line and we don't even see it. But that would be an initial visual reference point right there, and I would think that we're getting pretty close to that. I never did see anything that was El Capitan. I don't even, I mean, that's a famous surfing beach, right? Is that what that is? Anybody from California, please feel free to correct me. So maybe when we pop over the top of this ridge, we'll see a little airfield there. We got a little bit of a... No, actually we're good. And then we should hopefully be heading straight towards Santa Maria. Get to Santa Maria, we got to start getting serious here. I mean, this is a 62-mile leg, so we've got a little bit of time. But once we get there, we're going to need to kind of get an ATIS and take a look at runway configuration and figure out exactly what we're going to do. Actually, we'll have all that stuff looked at ahead of time, but at Santa Catalina, or Santa Maria, excuse me, that's when we'll kind of make our final decisions about what we're going to do. So speaking of looking at that stuff, here's Oceano County Airport. We've got an elevation of 14 feet. So yeah, even though it's tucked in the mountains, it's kind of right down there at sea level. Well, it's on the coast, I guess. I shouldn't say it's tucked in the mountains, but it is a lighted airfield if you ever need to get there in the evening hours. It does have a CTAF at 22.7. We're just using 22.8 because those aren't modeled just yet. Looks like runway 11 and runway 29, 2,300 feet asphalt. Okay, so normally you get the wind off the ocean, and so you're landing west, so I'm kind of figuring that it'll be runway 29 that we use, but we'll see. Okay, nothing else I really need to gather from that. I will take a look at, let's take a look at the weather here. Active sky, Lima 5-2. Looks like we've got winds 300. So yeah, that runway 27 is going to be the better choice. 16 knots though. That's a stiff breeze and a 23 knot gust from time to time. At least it's clear skies though, so that's a good thing. But that'll test me anyway. It's hard enough for me to land this plane on a calm day. A little bit of wind in there is going to really make it a challenge. Okay, I have LAX ATIS now. I'm almost wondering if center is going to pop online right here for the last little part of our trip, potentially. And we do have VOR alive. We're doing pretty good, I think. Did we ever see the Santa Ynez Municipal. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so we're in good shape. We're right where we need to be. Should basically be able to make straight in, and so we'll need to start to, as soon as we get over this kind of ridge line here, we'll maybe start descending, at least maybe down 2,500. Looks like we don't have any major terrain out front, and yeah, looking at sky vector, I'm not seeing really anything past this terrain here. Is on at our 11 o'clock is about 1,984 feet is the highest point, so we'll be okay to start our descent. We do have an Air Force base over here, Vandenberg. And let me see if I can talk here. Vandenberg Air Force Base, somewhere over here on the coastline. Alright, just about clear of this ridge line here, and I think we can start our descent. We're going to go ahead and do that here. Let's dial it in 2,500 and begin making our way down into Oceano. Still kind of looking here for the Santa Maria Airport. It may be, though, over this next ridge line here. We've got a ways to go yet. And every time my sim pauses, I do get that nervous feeling in my stomach, like, uh-oh, here we go, an hour and a half down the tubes. But so far it's been coming back in, and I honestly do think part of it is it's this Orbix scenery that's loading back up. It's beautiful, but it does tax my system here. So just looking ahead again, one more quick peek here. Oceano, it's again, we've got our runway configuration is 11 and 29, and the wind's 300, so we're going to use, I think I said 27 before, runway 29 will be the one we use. The other important thing, if we need it, is that this is a right pattern, RP, at 1,100. So if we should miss or we don't like what we're seeing, we're gonna make that right crosswind, right downwind, right base, right final. So a couple things just to kind of keep in mind. Otherwise, I'm not seeing a whole lot of stuff that we need to be, you know, aware of. You obviously don't want to get into this San Luis Obispo airspace if you can help it, because I'm sure they're trying to land folks in the same way we are. I would assume that the weather conditions would be similar, but with any luck, that won't be an issue, and we'll be able to put her down runway 29 just straight in. We'll start to make some Unicon calls here just to make sure everybody knows what's going on. The Santa Maria airport is a Class Delta, so again, same thing. If I had some air traffic, I'd be requesting permission, and but I don't, so I'm just monitoring Unicom at this point. And Downwind Sim checking in from the band competition. Yes, I will say downwind we're making it okay. I'm actually in descent now for Oceano County. It's been a wonderful flight. I got lucky. I picked up a little air traffic control right there as I was nearing LAX, and I believe I flew the transition correctly. The air traffic controller didn't tell me any differently, and there was one plane that did come in as I was entering the area. So yeah, it's been good. It was stressful, but in a good way. You know, it was stressful but exciting, and so yeah, you'll have to check it out later on. And I did ask a couple of questions there for people that are more versed in, first of all, air traffic, but someone like you, again, that's got some more real life experience. And you and I have talked several times about how do you marry the real world procedures with the reality of VATSIM. And so, like, this is an example. I'm closing in on a Class Delta airport, Santa Maria, which is right there off our 12 o'clock. I should be getting permission to enter that airspace, and I mean, I'm really, like, I'm in the pattern right now. I probably shouldn't be right here. I should be further to the north, but there's no air traffic controller to talk to. So what I've been doing as I go through this, because it happened also with Santa Barbara, is I've just been monitoring Unicom and just trying to communicate with anybody that happens to be on the ground. So yeah, I don't know if that's the way that, I mean, I'm guaranteeing you that's not the way it's done in the real world, but I don't know if that's an appropriate compromise, I guess, for VATSIM or not. Wow, all of a sudden we've got haze and more haze. So I'm gonna do this. We're gonna continue on down. There was nothing. Okay, yeah, you know, it probably is not a bad idea to just practice that anyway. Downwind, you're right. That would have been a good thing to do at both of those airspaces. Well, too late for that now, so we'll keep that in the files for next time we fly something like this. But right now, I'm wondering where has all this haze come from? this looks to me like forest fire smoke, honestly. And I wonder if they have fires going on still out in this part of the country. I don't know. I don't know. But we're going to go down here. Okay. Announce transitioning. And so I could even make that call right now, and just in case somebody happened to be on the ground. I think I will. Santa Maria traffic, Skylane 516 Delta Mike. We're transitioning through your airspace, currently descending 1,800 to Santa Maria. Northbound, I should have said. In Santa Maria traffic, Skylane 516 Delta Mike. We're northbound, Santa Maria. Very good suggestion, Downwind. Appreciate that, man. Okay, I think we're there, 1,500. We're leveling off. Alright, it's a little hazy here, but it's doable. It's one of those, when you get into this forest fire smoke, you know, it doesn't give you, it cuts down on your statute miles of visibility, but it doesn't necessarily, you know, it's not like precipitation where you just can't see anything. You've kind of got this little bubble around you. Santa Maria, that looks vaguely familiar. I think we maybe have landed there from time to time, or at least once. I don't know. Slipping just a little bit right of course here, so let me make my way back. He did know what I was doing. I checked in with him. I requested flight following. He gave me a squawk code, and then I requested the mini transition through the airspace, and he cleared me for that. And basically he just said maintain VFR at 2,500. That was it. I flew the route I had filed, which included the mini transition, and anyway, the only other time that I got talked to was when there was a plane on short final that he told me to look out for, and that was really it. So yeah, it went well, and he seemed to know what he was doing, and I guess I faked it good enough. I don't know. But yeah, it worked. It worked well. But one last little challenge here. I do have to find the Oceano County Airport and put her down on the ground here. Hey, and Al South checking in. Al South, this would have been your kind of day, man. VFR right through the heart of the LAX airspace, right through the, I think it's called the LA Basin. So yeah, it was, you know, Al and I had a talk, well, Al Downwind and I all had a talk a couple nights ago about just the difference between VFR flying versus the jet flying, and what I did is essentially took all the stressful bad parts of flying a jet and put them into a VFR flight. I requested a transition through one of the busiest airspaces in America, and yeah, Al, it was a little stressful, man, but in a good way. I don't mind a bit. And if you go back and watch, you'll see what I'm talking about. It actually went very, very well. It went better than I thought it was going to go. And so anyway, but it was exactly what we had talked about. And Al South, his perspective, and he's absolutely right, is one of the beautiful parts about flying VFR in GA aircraft is that you get to just enjoy the fun of flying, and you don't have the stress of talking to ATC and making sure you're at the right altitude and heading in the right direction, you know, flying a SID, flying a star, all that stuff. So and what I told him is, while I did agree with that, one of the things I love about flying in a jet is I love the challenge of creating, you know, creating a flight plan that's a little more complicated, that involves all that stuff, and then being able to execute it. It's kind of like putting together that 2,000 piece puzzle, and so I definitely see his point though, and that is one of the big reasons why I like to fly these light aircraft. Is you hop in, you turn the engine on, especially when you're flying Slant Alpha. I mean, really all you have to think about is just that next waypoint, essentially. So it's as simple as it can be, and if you're not even flying Slant Alpha, we did that today, but if you're just flying in the mountains of Idaho, like we do from time to time, you're just following terrain and looking for the airfield. All right, but in the meantime, we've got still a little bit of work to do here. We need to find that that airport here, and we're just tracking that inbound. We don't have any past the Santa Maria airport. We don't really have a lot of great visuals. We've got a major highway that runs to the north of us and railroad tracks that run to the south of us, and we could have followed the railroad tracks into Oceano, but I'm kind of thinking what I really want to aim for here is just staying on this VOR. We've leaned a little heavier on the radio navigation than we normally do in a VFR flight, but it's gotten us this far. So I see the coastline there, and the Oceano County Municipal Airport is pretty well right on the coast. So I feel like we're closing in there, and it won't be long now. Wind has picked up just slightly, and we are getting bounced around a little bit again. We are expecting some pretty heavy wind. The last report were steady winds at 16 knots with gusts of 23. So the biggest challenge of this flight may not be negotiating our way through LAX. It might just be trying to negotiate these winds. Fortunately for us, the winds are almost straight down the runway. So winds are 300 and we're landing on runway 29er. So that's a nice thing. And we don't want to get too much lower. 1,100 is pattern altitude, so we have dropped slightly from our 1,500, and I've drifted again just a little left of course, but I think we've got to be getting close here. I'm not seeing anything out here. I feel good about saying we haven't missed it. Oh, little guy is unhappy again, and I think there it is. All right, so we're gonna pull power back here, and Oceano County, Skylane 516 Delta Mike. We're on the short final runway 29er, Oceano County. Let's pull the flaps down a notch, and yep, that's a runway. It would make sense. There's our railroad tracks that take us right by the airport, so feeling pretty good about that. Getting our speed down there, and say a little prayer here. Alright, airspeed's looking good. Altitude's looking pretty good. There's a second notch of flaps coming in here. Boy, that really grabbed the wind. And we may just go flaps 2 here for this particular approach. Alright, landing lights and taxi lights are on. I actually never turned them off. Altimeter set. Field in sight. Oceano, Skylane 516 Delta Mike, short final runway 29er, Oceano. Boy, the wind is really slowing me down here. All of a sudden I've got a little bit low. Throw some power back in here. Second notch of flaps really changed the flight dynamics. Alright, there we go. Don't want to make too big a mess of this. There's 2.9, that's good. And we're down. It was a little bit of a wobbler, but with this much wind, I will take it. We're going to go flaps up right now so we don't catch a gust here. Okay, so welcome to Oceano County Municipal, and first time I'm ever remember being here. So good suggestion. This actually is Downwind Sim's suggestion, and man, I tell you what, it looks like a good one here, sir. All kinds of static aircraft, people walking around. Yeah, let's pull off, and we better take a look at that replay here, I think. Let's just pull off, and I'll just spin it around and park here next to the Bonanza, next to the V-tail. We'll act like one of these hangars is ours. Okay, we won't kill the prop because it makes the replay look weird, but let's pull this up and see what it looked like. At the last 3 minutes or so. Sounds good. Yeah, not much crab, a little bit. About what you would think. So out south, this scenery here is actually an Orbix mesh. It's their SoCal add-on, and it's nice. It does, I think, maybe compare a little bit to the ortho that you guys have there in X-Plane, and it certainly has made a huge difference, I think, in this type of flying, just because there is a lot more photo real stuff that you see. I mean, it's mixed in with some AutoGen stuff as well, but just to give it the 3D effect. But oh boy, I slid to the side there, didn't I? Let's see how many bounces. The flag is dead laying down. That's not accurate, but oh well. A little bit of an early flare, and not bad. I had to put the left tire down a little bit early, but and kind of ended up a little right of the runway. But all in all, that's not too bad, right, guys? Got cut off. You said Orbix. Yeah. So what I was saying out south is for P3D. This is an Orbix mesh that covers the entire Southern California area, and so that's what I have. All right, let's see. I've lost my sound here. Darn it. But anyway, it's probably the closest thing that we have in the P3D world to. Yeah, I'm locked up. Darn it. That's a weird bug, but it's probably the closest thing we have to ortho scenery for P3D, and it really makes a huge difference in terms of the VFR type of flying that we all like to do. But all right, so hey, let me throw some music on here and talk just briefly. And I say briefly because everything right now is pretty rough for next week. In fact, I don't have anything on the agenda for Monday, Wednesday, or Friday just yet for next week. Partly because on Saturday I'm going to be out of town, so there'll be no stream. But Monday and Wednesday I'm still wrestling with a couple different ideas, and but I'll have those ideas figured out here, shortly, and I'll have those up on the Discord and also on the flight schedule below here in the the Twitch stream. I am going to be back with Rob from Slant Alpha Adventures the following Monday, the 28th. As he gets closer and closer to where I live in real life, I'm going to be joining him, and so probably for, I don't know, his next maybe 5 or 6 legs, maybe I'm going to be with him, because he's flying just closer and closer, like I say, to my stomping grounds. So that's the only thing that I have right now firmed out in the next couple of weeks. That's Monday the 28th. But I would look for, the Phenom to make an appearance. I haven't flown it in a while. The DC-8 is long overdue. And then probably another leg of the Historic Flights tour with the L1011 as well. But again, all that stuff will be coming up here shortly. And by the end of the weekend anyway, I'll have it up. So just want to take a quick second again to thank my friends out south and Downwind Sim. As always, those guys stopping in, helping out. Great channels to check out if you haven't already. And then a couple of new guys, Billo F. Bongo and Luke VSS checking in there. And appreciate you guys coming by. I don't know if you're still here or not, but and then as always, thanks to the ATC. I know you guys get busy here in about another hour or so. Really appreciate everything you've done, and the people that have been working overtime on the AVF. Thank you. It's even in its glitchiness, it's phenomenal, and and so awesome. So anyway, that's about it for me. So I'm not going to be able to shut down this baby because I'm paused, but we're going to call it good right here. And I'm going to see about this belated birthday party that I missed out on a week ago. That's where I'm out and off to. So we'll be looking for everybody on the TCAS, and until I see you next time, take care. God bless.